What's up, everyone? It is Scott here with Beaty's Beat, back again with my game notes. This time, January 21st, 2023, Liverpool versus Chelsea. So let's just get things started. First, you have a little bit of background. I always like to start with the context entering the match. I said it says it all that this weekend's big matchup is Arsenal versus Manchester United. That's the battle at the top. And here we have 9th versus 10th. Few had that one coming, Liverpool versus Chelsea. A mid-table clash, if you will. Chelsea have been spending money like it's going out of style with Mudryk and Madueke from PSV just through the door. And that's also with Nkunku, who hasn't featured yet. But I think he might be injured, but he came through technically in the January window. Just spending boatloads of cash through Todd Bowley, the new owner. Trent is a shock not to start. Apparently, it's a minor muscle injury, so he is on the bench. And I said Bajčetić is a welcome first start. He's 18 years old. I think they said he was the 7th youngest Liverpool starter ever. So here, let's just take a look at the lineups. There you have it. Starting with Chelsea's, you got Kepa in goal. I believe Mendy has an injury. So yeah, both teams definitely with some injuries. I said the injuries for Liverpool include Trent, Darwin, Diaz, Virgil, Jota, and Bobby. Last week, sorry, I'm jumping all around here. Last week we lost 3-0 to Brighton, and that was the nadir for Klopp's reign. A low we thought we would never stoop to, but not altogether surprising this season given the season that we've had. It's been as if we've been sapped of 20% of our energy basically in each game, and that's not a good formula to have for a Klopp team because it's all about intensity. What else? Along with injuries and draining confidence. Weirdly, this is the first meeting of these two this season, despite it being in the second half of the season already. I think it had to get rescheduled due to maybe a cup clash as well as the World Cup just kind of fouled things up. So anyway, back to Chelsea's starting lineup. You've got basically a 5-3-2 or 5-2-3, 3-5-2 or whatever you want to call it. Or I'm sorry, I've fouled that all up, but it's on the screen. You can see it. You got Kepa in goal. Thiago Silva, overrated. Trevor Chalobah, young guy. Badiashile, just through the door from Monaco. Cucurella hasn't really done much in a Chelsea shirt thus far. Some young kid I never heard of, Hall, but apparently Chelsea fans pretty pleased with his impact that he's made. With the injuries that they've had. Conor Gallagher, very weird player in the Chelsea team. Jorginho, again, I think people have kind of forgotten about him in the Chelsea shirt recently. And then Mason Mount, Kai, and Ziyech. All right, quickly over to the Liverpool side. You got Alisson, Konate, and Gomez, center back pairing with Virgil out, Andy Robbo, and as I said, Trent, a shock not to start. But I guess he had a little bit of a knock, and Klopp said that he only had a day and a half to train. Then you had Bajčetić with his Premier League start debut with Thiago and Keita. I think a lot of Liverpool fans were very happy to see that, given the context that I gave with us playing so poorly against Brighton, and we had a midweek win cup replay against Wolves, and Klopp made a lot of changes, unsurprisingly, mostly due to the drivel of a performance against Brighton, but also to rest some legs perhaps with the Chelsea fixture coming up. And then you got Cody, Salah at center forward, and Harvey on the right wing. So definitely a mixed bag of a starting lineup. No one would ever dare claim that is our A+ starting lineup, but given how things have gone, I actually was pretty pleased to see us line up that way, including Mo at center forward. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. I'd like to see going forward Darwin and Cody Gakpo on the wings, which sounds a little weird because they're both 6'3", 6'4", but I would like Mo, especially as he gets older, to play more centrally, because I think he's just been kind of isolated on the right wing this season. So, anyway, let's transition back to talk show format. And we've got, in just the first minute, Robbo looking sloppy. He loses the ball and tries to aggressively get it back against Gallagher. He swings his leg at the ball and catches Gallagher. If this were later in the match or not at Anfield, a card of some color definitely would have been given. So definitely lucky to get away with that one. Third minute, and Chelsea are in front. Goal off a corner. Same old news. Similar to how we saw against Brentford, just pathetic defending. But wait, it gets taken back for offside, thanks to VAR. I said, thank God, this is the season of conceding first for Liverpool. Milner lets the ball go out for a corner, thinking it was a goal kick. More of what we saw against Brentford, pathetic defending. I think I said that. The C's part, the first chance gets saved by Allison. Rebound, only blue shirts near the ball. The red defense nowhere to be found. And Havertz scored on the second look. I said, where are our defenders? Thankfully, it got pulled back. All right, 5th minute. Bajčetić, my first opportunity to comment on his debut. The commentators, for some reason, pointed out that he was wearing short sleeves and low socks. I do suppose it was quite cold. Klopp was super bundled up, but I thought that was a weird thing to point out. He plays a beautiful ball over the top for Mo, who centers for Gakpo. Had a nice open look, but he hits it first time and it's way over. I said we need him to have his first good game. I believe this is his third start, second in the Premier League, and he's been pretty absent in the first two starts. I said great vision by Bajčetić, though. Great composure playing in the midfield, and he looks to be a pretty good passer. I know a lot of Liverpool fans are getting quite excited about him. This, in truth, was really my first view of him. I kind of got the sense of what to expect. Of course, want to see it from my own eyes, as well as you want to see consistency before you really start getting carried away. But listen, the setting is ripe to get excited about a Liverpool youngster when so much else is going wrong. And I'll get more into the mentalities that certain players brought towards the game. But he definitely impressed me. Loose comparison, maybe a little bit of like a Xavi Alonso. He is Spanish, kind of deep lying, has very good vision, good passing. Again, you'll have to see the consistency. I want to sort of play it cool with him and just not heap the pressure on him, and also not expect him to really start, and just hopefully get our senior players back healthy and confident. Moving along, in the 19th minute, that kid, the Chelsea kid Hall, gifts the ball away to us. He's playing in like a defensive mid position. I believe he had previously played in left or right back. He's pictured there. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my other screen. He was pictured in the starting 11 on FotMob as a right wing back, but he was really playing more through the middle. Anyway, he gets a little too cash in the back. Gakpo picks his pocket and 25 yards from goal. Chelsea still had men back, so it wasn't a breakaway situation, but Cody fires another skied effort, or sliced effort, same thing. Small silver lining, I said, is Gakpo is endeavoring to make an impact. Sloppy play by Hall rather than true pressing. And bad shot, but he's got to shake that off and have faith that he'll get the next one. That was just my feeling at the time. Also, based off of the other appearances that I've seen from Gakpo, I know he's a very good to blossoming to great player, and I'm very happy that we have him. And maybe very loose comparison to Darwin. I'm very excited about the talent that both of them bring, and both of them will definitely want to hone the performances that they've given so far in Liverpool's shirt. But I am not worried. They just need this belief needs to come from within. Ideally, you would see players like Robbo and Hendo and Matip and players that have been around that can kind of turn this thing around. But ironically, I think that's sort of the problem. And some might say that we need to clean house with the old guard, and they're getting old and this and that. But the way I view it is, we are in a very unfortunate situation where there's a dearth of confidence, and maybe you need to look to the youngsters to actually, not be jaded, like sort of the old England type thing, like Rooney and Beckham are jaded, but you need like the Raheem Sterling or, whoever the new kid on the block is to come and shake things up. So just rooting for Gakpo to get some more clean strikes on goal, as I know he has, but you can definitely tell that he's nervous in his Liverpool start of his career. Okay, 25th minute. This is more of a stat, but throwing some love towards Harvey, that they said on the broadcast that this is his 5th game for the club and his 30th this season. I believe he's still appeared in every Liverpool game so far this season, whether starting or from the bench. And I said, wow, I'm so proud of him. He's had his struggles this season. I said, who hasn't? But he's a superstar in the making. I'm happy to give credit to the sheer number of matches featured in at only 19 years old. I mean, it's amazing. You go back through, sometimes I go back through my camera roll, and you see, shots, stills from a season or 2 seasons ago, and you have the different threads that the players are wearing, and just recently, obviously not long ago, I'm seeing him in Blackburn colors, and so it's kind of amazing that he has accumulated 50 appearances. And again, I know a lot of people have been on his back. I think I'm his number 1 fan, and so we just need to have patience with him. I really do think he's a superstar in the making. 38th minute, Liverpool causing some trouble, some attacking intent shown in and around the Chelsea area, culminating with Thiago getting 2 cracks at it. First shot blocked, gegenpress. He wins it back, shuffles past some Chelsea defenders, a whole sea of blue, and then his second shot is deflected again. I think it did get through to Kepa, but the fizz was definitely taken off of it. I said I thought that this might open up for him a little bit. Again, we know what he has in his locker. He's able to shift around and do that little flip-flop and create a window of space and get a finish off, but it wasn't to be. I said golf clap, far from Liverpool's best, but I'll take anything at this point. Luckily, I will say Chelsea have been quiet outside of the first 2 minutes, so credit to Liverpool. Again, not setting the world alight, but at least kind of taking control of this game into the 41st minute. Andy Matip, I said another attack. Robbo wanting to get involved, and he goes on a Matip-style run up the gut, little bit of pass and go, and but for a deflected Salah through ball, he'd have been in on goal, but that ended up in Kepa's hands. Okay. Harvey Cross. I have on the little rundown. I said beautiful fizzed early cross into the danger zone for Gakpo. Almost finds him, but it goes behind for a corner. Let me see just a moment here as I... Okay. Oh, sorry. This is what I want to be doing. So I'm just switching up the visual here. And there we go. So on to the 45th minute. And Nabi, who I wrote off last game saying I want him to get out of my club, he plays a world-class ball outside of the foot, over the right shoulder from center to the right side of the field for Salah on the edge of the box, but Mo can't find the quality. But that was great to see. I think Naby right there, that is a great example of certain players in the Liverpool ranks, whether youngsters or Naby, again, obviously has had his injury problem and yada yada, but he is stepping into making this start when Liverpool have not been performing well. He's not under that dark cloud, and he's able to play a really nice ball. And Mo probably should have done better with it, but creating something. All right, that brings us to halftime, and here is the second half. Actually, let's back up a second. Let's back up to halftime. My thoughts. I said fair 0-0 scoreline. With a more confident, savvy Mo, Gakpo, and Thiago, we probably could have and maybe should have had a goal or two. Standouts have been Bajčetić, Harvey, Naby, and Robbo, both good and bad. All right, moving along to the second half. And we have a Bajčetić to Gakpo connection, a ball towards the back post. I forget if it was a cross or just or from a corner. He heads centrally for Gakpo. It wasn't super lined up for him. Gakpo did have to rise, and it was sort of a bit out of reach, out of balance for him, and he heads it over the bar. All right, and now, as you see behind me, it is the entrance of the heavily awaited or eagerly awaited Mudryk. He was signed from Shakhtar Donetsk to Chelsea for $89 million. I'm still not exactly sure where he plays. I believe he can play anywhere in the center of the park to left wing to maybe even straight through the middle. But he comes on, so I give him a little wave there. Everyone very interested to see him and why he costs £89 million coming from the Ukrainian league, and frankly, nobody had ever heard of him. Then the 62nd minute, Klopp making, I believe, his first change. Darwin on for Naby. Naby, as I said, not a bad showing. Honestly, can't remember too much else other than that ball that he played to Mo, but I think he played pretty decent. All right, Mudryk, 63rd minute. He almost scores. He is on a skateboard in the Liverpool box. Ball gets played from right to left. He brings it down. Good control. He kind of drags it past his defender. And then he's kind of into a sea of Liverpool defenders. Or I'm sorry, he plays I think he megs a Liverpool defender on a pass to whoever was centrally. That guy either lost control of the ball or gave it back to Mudryk, who picks it back up, Messi style, flip-flaps, as I said, on the skateboard, finds space. When you really watch it on the replay, it's really impressive, and he is pretty much point blank with Alisson. I thought it was going to be a goal. It was a tight angle. Alisson made himself big. Mudryk tries to slyly sneak it past him on the near post, but hits it wide of the frame. But already Mudryk is lighting sparks up on the field, whatever I'm trying to say. 64th minute, I say Thiago, cardinal kindergarten sin of passing directly up the middle to no one. He's got that one in him. Just wanted to kind of make note that very bad error from Thiago. Luckily this time it doesn't result in a consequence. I said, but the game is now into a different gear. The substitutes, both individually and by intent / momentum, have really changed this game. The tornado emoji is just to show that the game is just whirling all around, and it's a good one. 66th minute, Chelsea trying to hit Liverpool on the break. Milner is booked for just bundling over Mudryk rather than allowing a sure breakaway. Definitely a mismatch there. I thought Milner did pretty decently against whoever he was up against. I think it was listed as Mason Mount on the left-hand side. I can't remember if he actually occupied that position, but regardless, Milner was able to dutifully step in at right back until the entrance of Mudryk, and it was very danger very quickly, and I changed that yellow card to taxi for Milner. All right, 68th minute, Liverpool punch back to show that we're still in this despite the momentum shift. Chelsea definitely, basically, completely through Mudryk was turning the tide of the game. But Liverpool able to punch back to show we're still in it. Darwin playing on the left. He cuts inside and finds Gakpo, who, quick on a swivel, turns and shoots. He definitely lost power on the turn, but it was a very pretty move. You saw what he was trying to do. Again, it wasn't a great end product, but it was a pretty exciting idea from Gakpo, and you start to see the two, as Liverpool Lee calls it, the big bastard, pardon my language, front line teaming up there. So that is good. A little bit of back and forth in this match. 70th minute, Mudryk is providing an ominous threat every time he's on the ball. Already, I think at this point, I think he's worth the money. I am usually not one to say that. In fact, I was coming into this match, as I said, wondering, okay, why is this guy 89 million pounds? And it's kind of crazy to say, oh, okay, I think I see why already. Because again, sometimes you can come on and you can have, an electric performance. Even a player like Luis Diaz, who I'm a huge fan of, you watch him, and he has been very consistent for Liverpool. I'm not trying to knock him whatsoever, but I'm just saying that sometimes you can see a player come on and make an impact, and you can kind of see like, okay, I think he's a great player, but you really can't just be like, oh, I'm expecting to see him do that every single week. And with the type of performance that Mudryk put in, it was very impressive. I think you'll actually see him in pretty much any headline that you'll look at, because his impact was completely there to be seen. Not to give too much away, but I think he probably was man of the match, even though he was on for less than half the game. So I was really impressed with him, and he does seem like he's ready to bring it every single week. 75th minute, Chelsea on the attack. You even hear Chelsea, the Chelsea is heard by the crowd. You hate to see that at Anfield, but they sounded like the home crowd, at least at this point in the game. I said Liverpool need to be careful. Trent is subbed on. Game changes. Oh, I said game changers everywhere. Could be a frantic finish, and boy, was it. 78th minute. Chelsea clearly killing time with the Chalobah injury. He was down on the floor for 3 minutes. Then he gets up, and he's right by like the right side of the 6. And he could have just exited the field, taking 2 steps off the field. He decides to get up and start walking towards more of the middle of the pitch. Then the crowd starts groaning. He gets, even though he's getting substituted and walking off the pitch, he gets yellow carded. I think rightly so by Michael Oliver. But I just wanted to make note that Chelsea are trying to kill the clock there. 81st minute, the subs keep coming. In that same injury switch, Chelsea made 2 or 3 changes. Aubameyang came on, I believe, for Havertz. He's going to be out the door soon. Pretty clear with all of the signings that they've made, and it just hasn't worked out for him. Does go to show that not every, fans always want signings, but it doesn't always work out. It doesn't always make sense. 81st minute, Fabinho, Hendo, and Curtis Jones come on. So there could be your brand new midfield 3 right there. It turns out that Thiago remains on the field. Harvey makes way. So your final 10 minutes, midfield 3 is Thiago, Fabinho, and Hendo. Curtis goes up into the front 3 with Mo and Darwin, because I think Gakpo comes off. And 1 minute later, chaos. The agent of chaos, as he is now perennially known as, Darwin Nunez, is just making stuff happen. Darwin centers for Trent, who insists on hitting. This is a great ball from left to right, and Trent, who's playing right wing back, of course, comes in, and he has acres of space in the 18-yard box. Maybe acres is a little bit of an exaggeration, but it felt like it, and he just insists on hitting it first time, and of course he skies it. If he had just taken one quick touch, maybe a little cut here or there, he and Kepa was scrambling to get back to the correct side of goal. So that is definitely a wasted chance, possibly, arguably, the best chance of the game. And moving right along, 86th minute, and there's great link-up play between Mo, Darwin, and Hendo. That is hence the recycling emoji. I was just trying to show some interplay there, not insinuating that they need to get recycled, whatever that means. And I said a little glimpse of Liverpool in the glory years. But the cross doesn't find its deserved end. It wasn't a bad cross from Hendo. In fact, it was a pretty good ball, but it just didn't link up, and unfortunately, we couldn't get the first goal at that point in time. 91st minute, Klopp is seething. He's raging. He's ranting on the close sideline, of course. 3 very questionable throw-in calls in a row. Can't say that this is like a recurring problem that I've seen, but that near side referee gave 3 Chelsea throw-ins. I think all 3 of them were wrong, and Klopp is just yelling. Of course, it's 91st minute. Time's ticking. Chelsea's trying to chew up the clock, and at that point in the game, throw-ins, possession of the ball was pretty crucial. So I totally understand why Klopp was very angry. I even write LOL just because it's always hilarious to see Klopp getting so miffed. All right, Liverpool send Darwin down the left, causing danger once again. He sprints past Silva, forces a corner out of him. Corner doesn't come to much, but what a finish we have here. I think we took a short corner, played it towards the back post, and couldn't find much happening. And there were a couple other chances in those final 2 minutes, but that's all I have in my notes. It finishes 0-0 full time. Some parts of the game were drab. Those were, in particular, were in the first half. Second half was very entertaining. I think that kind of sums up the match, if you will, that there were some bright sparks. There were some things to get excited about, some new things to get excited about in Mudryk, and Bajčetić is even in that. In that still, and some old, as well. Naby Keita and Trent coming on, and Darwin, back from his little mini injury. There definitely were a ton of game changers, and it was very interesting, very entertaining to watch when the subs came in, and they definitely changed the game. So I think it was a very entertaining 0-0. I do think that you see why these two teams are in their respective places. They finished the match, Liverpool in 8th place and Chelsea in 10th. Let's see what else I have here. I said we're up to 8th, but this was an early kickoff. Not miles off the top 4. It is 9 points, which sounds like a lot, but it's still January. And we have another game to be played on some. I believe Tottenham have a game up on us. And when you look at the table, there are a lot of places in between, and you might argue, as I said, a lot of points in between where we need to be. But really, the way I view it is Spurs and Newcastle are our main threats for that 4th position. 1 through 3, at this point, I hate to say it, are probably going to remain 1 through 3, obviously being Arsenal, City, and United. Tottenham have been all over the place just as much as Chelsea and us. Maybe a sliver less all over the place, but I don't. I'm not really that afraid of them. Newcastle, who knows? They have been consistent, but this is a new, this is new real estate for them. And I would still fear Chelsea coming up behind us. I mean, I don't really know what to expect. They are just, as I said, spending money like it's going out of style. Mudryk obviously looks very good. I think there are some names that they've signed that you would expect to be very good. Whether this is the beginning of the season or the middle of the season, I have no idea what Potter's plans are for these players. It's such a hodgepodge collection of individuals. So I don't think that they're really ready to be just firing on all cylinders. Far from it. But I do think that they have pieces, and that's how I would describe Liverpool as well. As I've already told you guys on this stream, I think Liverpool have the quality to really surge up the table. We really just need to have that mentality. Whether it's playing the kids, that's definitely a risk. A lot at stake with definitely wanting to achieve top four, financially, recruitment-wise, etc. And we may have our own clearinghouse for the summer. I will save that for another stream to discuss. Quickly, I'm just going to do match ratings a little bit on the fly. Maybe should I toss up the... let's do it this way. I can toss this up quickly. So yeah, I think Allison... Again, I haven't even thought of this prior to this moment, but Allison, I will give a 7. I don't think he had too much to do. Maybe made a save here or there. He was a little skittish. He had one really bad back pass from Robbo that he dealt with sloppily, but dealt with. Milner, whatever. I'll give a 6. I'm happy for him putting in a 6 of a performance. Might even give him a little bit higher. 6.5, but then when Mudryk came on, that little very scary 5 minutes that they were duking it out was definitely scary. So let's go with 6. Ibu, whatever, 6. I think he put in some strong challenges. He did fine. Didn't impress. It didn't really move the needle up or down from my previous opinion of him, so I'll give him a 6. Ditto on Gomez. He made one or two blocks. I'll give him 6.5 for that. Robbo, I was seeing a lot of people saying possibly man of the match for Liverpool. I think that's a little overestimating him. I think that he was a little all over the place. I think people want to reward him for the effort that he put in and that not Maisie run, but Matip-like run. And the effort, I'll give him a 6.5. Because I do think that he was a little bit sloppy. Keita, 6.5. Again, similar to what I said about Konate and Gomez. My opinion of Keita is what it is, but he was pretty bright. Maybe that's a little harsh, but I'll stick with it. Bajčetić, I'm going to give him a 7.5. I was very impressed with him. Not saying he didn't put a foot wrong, but he definitely, in terms of which Liverpool players showed the quality today, Bajčetić was definitely up there. As I said at halftime, he was one of the outstanding players. Thiago, I'll give a 7. That might be a little high. Don't think he was super great, but he did have a good game and he made some good passes. He actually was pretty decent on the defensive side of the ball, even high up the pitch. Harvey, I will give a 7. I thought he was bright. I'm a Harvey homer, but I thought he was bright and making things happen. When he got taken off, I was little disappointed, so I think that's a point in his column. Salah, 6. He really didn't make much happen. I think he was on the ball more than Gakpo. He was more of a target. We did kind of get him the ball. He didn't spurn too many chances. He didn't create all that much himself. Let me rack my brain. Is that true? He maybe created a little bit, so 6, 6.5. Gakpo, I'll give him 6.5, just a little boost of confidence maybe, but he probably deserved more of like a 6. He was kind of absent. Who came onto the field? Hendo and Fab, they were, I think, okay. They showed some energy, kind of NA. Maybe Hendo deserves like a, maybe I'll give him a 7 just because he did come on and he was showing that captain spirit. Did make the run down the right hand side and put the ball in for someone in the center of the pitch. He was decent. Darwin was great. I would give him a 7.5. Still, not super sharp, but he was definitely. I mean, how many times was he on that PTI rundown screen? So I think that alone he deserves a 7.5. Who else? I forget who else. Curtis was decent. He actually got yellow carded. He should have. He drew a foul on the edge of Chelsea's box, which wasn't given, and then he 5 seconds later angrily kind of lashed out and got a yellow card for himself. But I'll take it. I do like to see that. Sometimes it's kind of stupid, but I liked how he was going after it. And those are my match ratings. Let me know what you think about that. My conclusion, I kind of gave it already, but just to wrap up, we've got, was it Brighton in the FA Cup next weekend, and then we have Wolves the following weekend, the weekend of February 4th. So a little bit of time. I'm kind of happy about that. I mean, the less games thick and fast, the better, because Klopp needs some time on the training pitch with the new guys, with the old guys, to really kind of get back to square one. And I mean, it's the same old story, unfortunately, this season for Liverpool, that we do have a lot of injuries. Let me just rattle that off again. You've got, Darwin and Trent, they were fit enough to be on the bench and they came on, so fine, but they didn't start the match. And every game you have like kind of one of those. Firmino's been out for quite a while. Diaz has been out forever. We really need him, because you can rely on him to just bring the energy, the intensity, and the quality. That is what Liverpool is dying for. We need that, and we really need Diaz back. Virgil's now out injured. Jota is the new Daniel Sturridge. He is out all the time. So anyway, that's just a recap of where Liverpool are going forward. I think Klopp will have time on the training pitch to kind of set things right. We have 2 weeks until our next Premier League match. That's got to be a blessing. Then right around the corner from that is going to be Real Madrid in the Champions League. I know a lot of people are sweating that matchup. Everybody fears the royal name of Real Madrid. I didn't think that they were that great last season. I don't think they're that great this season. In fact, they just lost to Barca in the Super Cup, whatever. Whether they're on a high or somewhere in the middle, they don't really fear me. I don't think they're that great of a team, but we're certainly going to need to be a lot better. But listen, it's Liverpool. It's going to be in the Champions League. You almost hopefully can wipe the form book clean. And again, the takeaways from this match, Liverpool-Chelsea, I think it was an entertaining draw. I think in simple terms, 0-0 summed the game up, that we or Chelsea didn't have enough to score, but certainly threatening. I mean, listen, that game could have been a lot worse with how both teams are performing, but I think a lot of things to address and a lot of things to be excited for both teams. So I enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts on the game were, what your thoughts on my game notes are, and I appreciate you tuning in. My name is Scott in New Jersey. Beaty's Beat, it has been a pleasure. Everyone, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your weekends, and I will catch you on the next one.